their ground, despite spirited efforts by the police to disperse them. The protesters even chained themselves to each other in a bid to resist arrest. After a prolonged game of cat and mouse, more than 15 of them were arrested and ferried to various police stations in the city.
Stephen Owoko,
Ademba Alans, Joshua Kayo, Ukio Mtata.
The process continued while in custody as they recorded videos from the police cells seemingly maintaining their courage in the push to realize their cause. It was a similar situation in Mombasa County, where activists led by the Vocal Africa CEO Hussein Khalid also started demonstrations in the coastal city. The police quickly calmed the situation with several of them arrested. Early in the day, Senator Ukio Mtata filed a petition at the Kibra High Court seeking orders to release 7 Kenyans believed to have been abducted by the police. He further wants resignation of the Inspector General Douglas Kanja and the Director General of the National Intelligence Service and the DCI.
If it's true that they don't know what's going on, should resign. If they know what's going on and are doing nothing, they should resign. Because they are incapable to perform the duties for which the Kenyans have appointed them and keep them in office. The
activists warned that the rising cases of abductions risk exposing the country to lawlessness and disregard of the rule of law.
I'm not seeing them ceasing. We have seen one as recently as 24 hours ago. They shouldn't be happening in the first place. This is a free country. We have the law, tuko na katiba. We don't understand why people are being surveilled. And it also questions where you're walking around with your devices. Little do we know these are monitoring devices. So are we really safe in our own country?
And we are warning the police officers. The law will catch up with you. Get the message. Police officers who are abducting us and terrorizing us, the law will catch up with you. And if the law do not catch up with you, the people will catch up with you.
Joel Chacha, K24 TV, Nairobi.
All right, still on that, a former presidential aspirant, Reuben Kigame, was arrested and released immediately as he attempted to lead an anti-abductions demos in President William Ruto's backyard, Eldoret town. Kigame was released upon arriving at the Central Police Station in Eldoret. Now, police officers patrolling Eldoret town confiscated placards in their possession. Kigame accused police of violating the Constitution by stopping a legitimate demonstration. He also accused President William Ruto's government of doublespeak and propagating impunity and hypocrisy.
Stop abductions! 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 Stop abductions!
Tumekuwa barabarani na mabango yetu kupinga mambo ya abduction Kenya, tukisema wa release wale vijana wetu ambao wameshikwa, lakini tulifuatwa na polisi karibu 20 hivi, wakachukua mabango yangu yote, wakanipeleka police station, na hawa vijana ambao niko nao wengi wametawanyika, lakini tumefika hapa kusema hata watushike, hata watusimamishe, tunataka mambo ya abduction yaishe Kenya. Kwa sababu kuna right ya kuongea, kuna right ya expression, freedom of expression iko kwa katiba. Tunataka kwamba kama hawa vijana wamefanya makosa, washikwe, wapelekwe kotini, wafunguliwe mashtaka.
Lakini ni kama hawajataka hii kitu iendelee hapa, haswa kwa kuwa ni ngome kuu ya rais. Na hatuna kitu yote against our president. We love you, our president. Mr. Ruto, we love you so much. Na hapa tungependa kukuomba kama vijana wa Uasin Gishu, kindly, vitu kama hizi ndio zinaharibu serikali, zinaharibu nchi. Hawa vijana kuna njia ambayo inaweza fanywa na wanaweza chukuliwa hatua ya mahakama, washikwe, wapelekwe mahakamani na wafanyiwe justice ifanyiwe kwao. Lakini kupotea inafanya paka hata sisi tunakuwa na uoga.
Stop abductions! Stop abductions!
And of course, on that, we want to make sense of the events today. And of course, joining us right now via phone is Amnesty International Kenya Executive Director Hilton Irungu, who is joining us now to try and make sense of this particular events today. Hilton, let me begin with this one. I do understand that you are at a police station trying to secure the release of those that have been arrested today. Where are we with that particular release?
Unfortunately, we've not had much success. We have reached out to different levels of the police command structure. We've reached out to the interior. Essentially, what we are saying is that the persons who were arrested this afternoon, and we probably have about 33 persons who are currently in custody either in Nairobi or Mombasa, that they should be charged or released. And of course, it is our position as Amnesty that they have broken no laws, that they essentially were expressing their constitutional right to assembly on an issue that is of public interest. They should just be released. But as I speak to you now, we are at 9 o'clock and we still have no way forward in terms of the 33 that are currently arrested. 53 people were arrested early in the day, and several have been released prior to this moment, but we still have 33 in police cells, either in Nairobi or Mombasa.
Okay, so in terms of trying to secure that, has the process been flawless, or we are experiencing some difficulties with securing this particular release of individuals who have been arrested?
No, we've had legal teams in no less than 6 police stations since probably 3 o'clock this afternoon, so it's been 6 hours of essentially representation of our clients, but the police seem unsure what they want to do with the 33. So we are continuing to press that they be unconditionally released. As far as we are concerned, they have broken no laws, that they are essentially speaking out on an issue that His Excellency the President has spoken out and declared that there would be an end to the abductions. Primarily, the protests that took place today had just one theme, which was release those now 11 persons that have been abducted in the last week or so. As Kenyans, we've been very concerned, not just that there are 11 families that did not have Christmas with their loved ones, but really what does this mean for a country that prides itself on being a rule of law country, that declares that it has institutions that are respected and that the rights under our constitution are sacrosanct. And to have, in some cases, persons disappeared for close to a week now, this is unacceptable and a clear violation of both international law and domestic Kenyan law.
All right, I want to bring in the statement by the head of state, and he recently claimed that we are going to start seeing, a stop when it comes to abductions. When he came into power, he said we'll not experience what we're experiencing right now, because their arrests right now that we actually had today are anti-abduction demonstrations. Despite his statement, we still are where we were years ago. So what would you make of this particular statement, that at the end of the day we still make statements, but following through to that is a little bit of a problem? What does that speak of the government of the day?
Well, I think we have to continue to point out the misalignment between what is government policy and what is the practice for many Kenyans and the experience of many Kenyans of governance. 2-3 weeks ago, hundreds, if not thousands, of women marched across the country, and we saw the arrest and forceful disruption of a rally that was essentially called in solidarity with victims of femicide. Just days after the president had said that he is committed to ending that practice. Today we've seen it's about 53 persons arrested, hundreds dispersed using tear gas by force. A few days, less than 48 hours after the president has said that he will bring the case of abductions to an end. So we have to point out that it is important, yes, that we do have the presidential statements, but that the government aligns with those statements and that we don't see doublespeak in terms of what is said and what actually happens on the ground. There was absolutely no reason why the rallies today should have been disrupted. They were peaceful. They focus primarily on the issues that not just the president, but several of the leaders have spoken about. And it is really the topic of this Christmas. In many ways, the wave of abductions has crushed the Christmas spirit for many, many Kenyan families. So this was an opportunity essentially for the country to move forward and to see public pressure for the return and the release of those that have been abducted. Secondly, for an end to abductions as a means of policing. And lastly, a commitment that the persons that were involved with the commanding officers for these abductions, that they would be held accountable in a court of law.
What would you say is the state of human rights in the country in terms of protecting the human rights from the state?
Well, there are obviously a number of things that we can celebrate as a country. We have seen a number of gains in terms of data governance and data protection. It is still contested. We have a vibrant, very vocal mass media. We have also a freedom of expression on social media platforms, and also there is a strong contingent of human rights organizations, from the Law Society of Kenya to Defenders Coalition to the Kenyan Human Rights and Kenyan National Commission for Human Rights Commission, alongside Amnesty and IMLO and others. But I think we are deeply concerned by this latest trend of abductions, because in many ways abductions are not just simply removing individuals from the protection of the law. It is also a message to the rest of society that you too can be targeted, and all the rights that are in our constitution, in our laws, can be denied from you. So I think this is one of the implications of the abductions, and that's why I think there have been a lot of statements and condemnation of what has been happening.
Much Hilton Irungu, of course, and we hope that you get to you're able to secure the release of those that have been arrested today as they took to the streets or protesting against the rising cases of abductions in the country. Thank you so much for your time. And of course, we want to take a short break here on the program. When we come back, we'll be taking you through more stories that we've been able to gather during the day.
As the sun rises, so do we, as we trust it to rise and set without any worries interrupting your day. StarTime's home solar solution with solar panels, hybrid inverter, and lithium battery, powering your prosperity and happier life, empowering you to do the things that really matter. A complete and reliable home solar solution. Call us today. StarTime Solar. Power your life.
Angukia welcome bonus. Only on Mozart. Karibishwa kama mgeni. Register now on mozartbet.co.ke to angukia free bets and a free spins bonanza. Kuwa mshindi. Mozartbet.
Alright, listen up. Collocates is on a mission. It makes our gums happy and our teeth strong. See? We're moving forward and making changes.
It's kind of a big thing.
Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate Science for healthy gums and strong teeth.
And we'll leave no smile behind.
Mzee mmoja alitamani kitu rohoni mwake. Kitu kimoja kikubwa Christmas hii. Kuwa familia yake ije na upendo. Ije na furaha tele. Furaha hiyo ienee zaidi kote. Ilete tabasamu ya Krismasi kwa wote. Sambaza furaha. Hii Krisi, tuje pamoja kwa upendo.
All right, thank you so much for staying with us here on Evening Edition. Let's continue with the news tonight. Now, the High Court has ordered the immediate release of 6 individuals who are reportedly abducted. Now, Peter Muteti, Bernard Kavuli, Billy Mwangi, Gideon Kibet, Ronnie Kiplangat, and Steve Kavingo. Now, Justice Bahati Muamunyi has also directed Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja to produce the 6 in court on Tuesday, 31st of December. Now, the court emphasized that the IG must personally ensure compliance with the directive, warning that failure to do so will result in penal sanctions for contempt of court. Additionally, a conservatory order has been issued restraining the respondents from arresting, detaining, charging, or prosecuting the 6 individuals for any criminal offences unless explicitly authorized by the High Court. The Inspector General, named as the first respondent in the case, has been personally summoned to explain the whereabouts of the petitioners and ensure they are brought before the court as instructed. Now, in a related directive, the Director General of National Transport and Safety Authority, George Njao, or a designated representative, has been ordered to appear before the court on January 3, 2025 to provide specific vehicle records pertinent to the case. Now, still on matters abduction, former Chief Justice David Maraga has strongly condemned the recent rise in abductions, killings and torture across Kenya, allegedly involving state agents. Now, in his New Year message, Maraga criticized these violations of the Constitution and called for the immediate release of individuals detained unlawfully. He urged Kenyans to recommit to the values of justice and constitutionalism enshrined in the 2010 Constitution. Now, the statement reads, "This year has been challenging for many families. The killings, maiming and abductions of young Kenyans have severely tested our institutions and demand a moral response. If we truly uphold the sanctity of life and dignity of every citizen, we must stand firm in defense of our Constitution." Maraga further denounced the acts of violence, calling them heartless and inhumane. He continues to say, "I condemn the killings, torture and abductions, and I demand the immediate release of those still unlawfully detained. Our politics must never again stoop to such levels of cruelty and disregard for humanity." This statement comes as Kenyans continue to call for an end to the abductions of government critics. Now, parents in Embu County are calling on President William Ruto to intervene and have their 24-year-old son, Billy Mwangi, who went missing on the 21st December 2024, to be released. Now, according to witnesses, Billy was at the barber shop when he was forcefully taken by 4 armed men. Days after Billy Mwangi was abducted by masked men, the uproar and demands for his release continues to take center stage. Protesters have taken to the streets demanding his release. Residents have put the police to question why investigations are taking their sweet time. A mother's pain, a father's anguish, and the cloud of uncertainty now hang around Billy's home as they appeal to the president to intervene and have their son released and returned home safe and sound.
Our president, we love you so much. Na kwa sababu wewe ni mzazi, I know unajua ile pain we are going. Unajua ile pain tunapitia. Tafadhali Mr. President, tuachilie huyu mtoto na tutamkalisha chini. I'm begging you.
A father forced to issue a public apology. All he wants is his child and promises to speak to him if at all he wronged the government.
We are taking responsibility for anything which that guy could have done. Na tukasema Kama ni hizi vitu ziko kwa social media ambazo he was caught along in transmitting or whatever. Personally, I said, I'm very sorry. Na bibi yangu akasema, I'm very sorry to the offended parties.
As families marry during this festive season, this family is devastated and has nothing to celebrate and smile about. The fate of their son and the state of their sanity hanging by a thread.
We are peaceful. We are peaceful.
Despite the promises made by the president to tackle the issue of abductions, residents have lost their calm and are now taking the matter into their own hands through street demonstrations, hoping that all the abductees will be returned home safe and sound. All right. A section of opposition leaders fronted by Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka have vowed to go hard on the Kenya Kwanza government. Now the opposition has admonished the government for oppressing Kenyans. And as Milia Kisienya reports, a new phase of opposition is set to be unveiled in the coming year.
As the year clocks down, the Kenya Kwanza government continues to be on the receiving end for failing Kenyans in delivering its promised agenda. The latest cry drawn from the existing opposition leaders following the death of Azimio coalition.
2024 was a really disastrous year. We all know, and I've said it, that Kwamba health was a disaster. The way we managed our education sector, another disaster.
We are sending a warning shot to the Kenya Kwanza regime on oppressive taxation, corruption, wastage in government, and on the dysfunctional SHIF disaster. Listen to the voices of the people on these matters.
The opposition leaders under the leadership of Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka, while delivering his New Year message to Kenyans, have pointed fingers at what they term as over-ambitious policies fronted by President William Ruto, which 2 years later have left Kenyans dangling in oppression. And to ensure the status quo does not cross over to 2025, the crippled opposition movement says it has a plan.
2025 will not follow a similar path. We will not allow it. As a people's loyal opposition for now, we shall obviously be unveiling our new coalition early in the new year. And so we are taking charge in the next year.
The former vice president says the opposition will remain with the voice of Kenyan people, despite the key political leaders seemingly crossing the divide to join what is now termed as broad-based government.
Mtu akitaka kwenda safari aende. Tena kaboko si mtu yake. We are in opposition and we are where our party leader told William Ruto, stop abductions.
Mr. Ruto's sinister schemes of silencing of alternative voices and the opposition through buying them into blood-based regime. To those who have been bought, know this, you have betrayed the people of Kenya.
The Wiper Party leader has maintained his position that it is the ruling party that is holding out the proper reconstitution of the National Electoral Body IEBC, explaining that the Kenya Kwanza government is keen on derailing the country's hard-earned democracy.
The thousands of Kenyans are today unrepresented in parliament and at the county assemblies because of an individual's vested interest in the 2027 elections, which he wishes to manipulate through a user-friendly Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission, IEBC.
Milia Kisienya, K24 TV.
Right now, from matters politics to matters health, the already ailing health sector appears to be getting worse from bad. Now tonight, newborn babies are going home without receiving the life-saving BCG vaccine that prevents tuberculosis or TB. Now, the situation is occasioned by a severe shortage of the BCG vaccine in hospitals. Our reporter Bintura Kwamboka spoke to a number of parents who were discharged from hospitals in Kisumu without the vaccine for their newborns.
There is a fresh BCG crisis in the country as hospitals struggle to give the crucial vaccine used to prevent tuberculosis, TB, in babies at birth. This is due to a lack of the vaccine in some government hospitals. A spot check at various hospitals in Kisumu County showed not only a shortage of the vaccine, but also the diluent used for the vaccine. This has left infants seriously at the risk of contracting the deadly disease. At Lumumba Hospital in Kisumu County, a number of newborn babies only received the polio vaccine, with mothers turned away for the BCG vaccine.
Nilitarajia mtoto wangu angepata chanjo zote, lakini hangeweza kupata ya BCG, akapewa tu ya polio. Nikaambiwa hawajui hata ni siku gani tutaletewa hiyo. Though itawahi kuja but hawajui, so ikikuja tutaambiwa tukujie.
It is a similar script for Habib Juma. She was discharged and requested to return her newborn baby after 2 weeks to get the vaccine.
Lazima niko na hofu manake huwezi jua litakalompata. Si nasaidia kwa upande wa maradhi, viungo. Naomba tu iharakishwe kama dawa zinaweza patikana zifike kwa haraka manake hatuwezi jua ni mlipuko gani utalipuka idhuru watoto.
Parents are now living in fear of what could befall the newborns should the shortage persist, and are now calling on government to act fast before the situation gets out of hand.
Sasa niko worried mbona akupewa na nafaa pewe. Ombi langu ni waweze kutuletea hizo dawa, watoto wetu waweze kuchanjwa. Wasije wakawa na shida hapa mbele juu ya kukosa kuchanjwa.
Kisumu and Baringo counties have been the worst hit counties, with Kenya first being hit with a vaccine shortage in May of this year after missing out on a year-long supply due to defaulting a 2 billion shillings debt owed to the global supplier. A shortage that was worsened by a slash of the vaccine budget from 2.6 billion shillings to 1.2 billion shillings. In June, the Ministry of Health distributed 3.1 million doses of BCG at a cost of 1.25 billion shillings. Currently, the country procures vaccines through a co-financing model with partners. The state of the health sector is still on the edge after the introduction of a new health insurance fund shift, which has faced myriad of teething problems. For K24 TV, my name is Bentura Komboka.
All right, that story by Bentura Komboka takes us to our second break here on the program. We'll be back in a few.
Mozart Casino Jackpot. Zungusha gurudumu la furaha. Kuwa mshindi. Mozart Bet.
Huyu ni mume wangu, John Dennis. Yeye na mimi tulihusika katika ajali ya barabarani. Ninachokumbuka ni kusikia breki na mgongano. Mume wangu alikuwa kwenye sakafu ya matatu, huku mkono mmoja ukining'inia kwenye kiti kimoja, na alikuwa amepoteza fahamu. Hivyo nilijaribu kumuita na kumgonga mpaka akazinduka. Basi alipoamka aliniambia sisikii miguu yangu. Daktari Okanga aliingia na kutukusanya chumbani na akatuambia Dennis hataweza kutembea tena. Ilinivunja moyo kwa sababu amekuwa mume wangu kwa miaka kama 12. Kisaikolojia siko sawa. Nafanyiwa ushauri. Kuwa mlezi mkuu si rahisi. Punguza mwendo. Mwendo kasi unaua.
We are now leaving for the big meeting in France. At my presence there, the Lord is going to open heaven there and then bring the rain of the Holy Spirit.
I see a rain falling here. Open heaven, we are running. People recording. I am also recording. I see a situation, a visitation. Mighty Father, open heaven over these people and bring the rain of the latter glory in the mighty name of Jesus. Now I see people running.